Greetings, gals, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command, Orion Pirates Mod. I'm Lieutenant Commander Tarek of the frigate Shieldbreaker, as we continue our campaign as the Cardassian Union. And last time, well, we got our feet wet a little bit. We started to utilize the Hideki-class frigate that we're currently driving in. We've managed to save up 1,184 prestige. We only need about 1,900 in order to get ourselves inside of Galorious, and I think that'll be the main target that we'll sort of aim ourselves for. Although we could pick up a slightly smaller ship. There's quite a few ships to choose from after all. Nothing is off limits in this campaign, purely because I spent a lot of time to make sure that it was all working, so I hope that we can enjoy. So we don't know which empire we're going for yet. We happen to be next to Gore in space, but we could head on south down to the Romulans, or even one of the much further empires. All is on the table, and I really would like to people to let me know kind of which faction they'd like me to try and take on, mainly so that I can prepare that faction for us to take them on. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, let us set out into space to see if we can actually get a little bit of action going on. I'm going to actually avoid the planet because we don't really have a great siege capability, so we're going to attempt to not do that. So we're going to begin the day today with an ABT-10 patrol, a fantastic mission to begin the day, and let us maximum alert and start to increase the speed. When you stop to think about it, surprisingly enough, this is actually not the worst faction to pick to be a sort of a Cardassian stand-in. The other factions that I had been considering were the Lyrans and to a certain extent the Marak, because I kind of like the Cardassian Union, at least in terms of their ships, and I'm a huge Marak fan, so the fact that I could put, Cardassian ships with all kinds of missiles was really high on the chart. However, I decided against that, partially because of Armada. Now, if you ever have played Star Trek Armada or Armada 2, which I highly recommend playing Armada 2. In fact, we may end up playing it on the channel at some point, should there be a sufficient push for it. But one of the really cool things about it is the Cardassian Union utilizes a special ability, I believe, on the Galorious class heavy cruisers called Overload the Plasma Banks, which basically they utilize plasma torpedoes rather than regular photon torpedoes and, plasma beams and that sort of thing. And because of that, I kind of caved in on the idea of, let's try and make them the ISC, because the ISC utilize some pretty interesting weapons. They have a fairly similar philosophy of, peace through I'm conquering all of your stuff. And yeah, they can get a lot done over here. We have another Gorn frigate off there in the distance. The other choice could have been Gorn, but I really didn't want to do that to them because I'm going to be blunt. The Gorn are a blunt instrument. They are not exactly subtle. And the Cardassian Union is surprisingly subtle, or maybe not super surprisingly subtle, but they are quite subtle. So I kind of wanted to give them a faction with a little bit of subterfuge behind them, and so it kind of leaned more and more into the ISC. Now, the Marak also was a great option for us because, missiles, the Dreadnought missile episode absolutely from Voyager, which, okay, Voyager wasn't exactly the greatest, but it did bring us some interesting concepts for us to play around with. FLG, you may not actually have a plasma torpedo. If that's the case, I'm going to beat the ever-loving crap out of you. He does not. Oh, lovely. Activate the tractor beams. Let's get in for a close one. I don't think this will charge in time. In fact, I'm 90% positive it won't. Fire! We hurt ourselves doing that one. Shut that tractor beam off before it can fully charge. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go! That one. I can't read Cardassian just yet. I'm still in the middle of language courses for it. But yeah, he doesn't have a plasma torpedo, which means we basically get to kick his butt for free. Now, he does have 3 phaser 1s, but then again, we have 4 phaser 1s, so we came to the table just a little bit better prepared than he did. I'm feeling a little bit confident about that then. Let's pump our speed up a little bit more. After all, we have some power. We may as well use it. He does have some pretty good shields. I'm so tempted to drop a mine, but I'm trying to resist the urge. Should we drop a mine, it's a consumable. I can't get it back. So let's wait for... That's an angle. Right on through the shields, and we're going to bring it back around. See if I can hopefully swing the aft shield away just in time and bring off the port side phasers. There we go. More on through. Little waypoint system going on in there. So the Predatoricon, it's one of the best named vessels in the entire Gorn fleet. Currently driving around at a speed of 8, has one of its phaser banks currently off online, and we are scuttling away as fast as we might. Another phaser burst off of him, so I'd like to get away outside the range of 5, so his phasers will not be super effective. Can I stay away from that forward arc, or is he going to be able to get that phaser on? Okay, good. Now we can just set our stern towards him, and we're going to run right on away. Then we're going to, curve back around, fire plasma torpedoes, and make him hurt a lot. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with the Gorn faction just yet, because the Gorn don't really exist post-TMP, or really TOS. I suppose there is, of course, the JJ reimagined Gorn from the one horrific video game, and also the Gorn show up very briefly in Enterprise, but other than that, they really don't show up in TNG and Deep Space Nine, which is kind of where I'm grabbing things from. I don't think I want to try and make the Dominion work. I almost made the ISC the Dominion, which probably would have been best. However, there's just not enough ships, and I would end up having to do a lot of repeats. When we move past this season, I may end up doing that anyway, but that is not a guarantee, and I'm not quite sure what I'll do with the card. Oh, wrong shot. Plasma torpedo, please. Prepare the next plasma torpedo. We shall make sure that he is in all of the pain. That's a hit. Second plasma torpedo. Prepare the further phaser follow-up. He will have no shields. And badly damaged. He's dropping down to a speed of 5, and I'm going to see if I can't pull on a way out of this before he gets out of the range. It's going to activate now, and we are safe and free. Managed to knock out another 2 of his phasers, but he does appear to be repairing the spinal mounted phaser and working on recharging another one. So we're just going to see if we can't slip nice and safely out of the range of 5. 5 is not really the hard and fast rule in terms of, you know, effective phaser 1 use. Really, phaser 1s are pretty fantastic at any range that we actually manage to choose. But if we actually look at the damage chart, at a range of 5, a phaser 1 will deal a maximum damage of 5 with an average of 3.8, and it just gets better from there. The range... Oh no, 3.5, not 3.8. 3.8 is a range of 4. But if you go to 6 to 8 range, the damage drops from 3.5 to 2.2. So on the slightly closer end of the table, if you go to a range of 4, you're at 3.8. So you've picked up 0.3 average damage. You're actually at the same maximum damage value. And if you go 1 down on the scale, you're at 2.2. You've lost 1.3 points of damage, which is rather severe. And then at a range between 9 and 15, the damage drops down even further, another 1.2 off of that, and you're down to a damage of 1. So that's why kind of the range of 5 for me is sort of like a break point there, because it's a fairly large jump between 5 and 6, and a much smaller jump between 5 and 4. Although, honestly, you still want to get extra close, because if you manage to get into that super sweet spot of a range of 0, you have a maximum damage of 9, which gives you an average of 6.5, which is pretty hilarious. Those averages are based on the minimums and the maximums. I didn't actually list off the minimum ranges, but you can actually extrapolate. I believe it's a 6 to 9 damage when you fire the plasma torpedo at point blank range, or is it 6 to 4? Something like that. And then, yeah, very, very powerful, should you actually manage to pull it off. We're going to just increase the speed of time as we sort of catch back up to him. He's attempting to get away, which is something we don't want. So we're going to wait for the Predatoricon. Hi, I've gotten you to a range where you're not going to possibly reduce the power of my plasma torpedo. And another one bites the dust. Forward shield, managing to absorb that last burst. So perfectly executed. Now, to be fair, our victim was not exactly powerful. But then again, neither are we. So at the end of the day, we're not exactly the strongest ship out there. 1470, so we're about 500 away from being able to pull off, managing to get our hands on a Galore class, and I really kind of do want to get my hands on something that big. Jumping immediately up to a Cardassian Galore would be a lot of fun. Not sure I want to go to the Keldons. The Keldons are interesting. They definitely, well, they're basically Galores with an extra little bit on the back, but that doesn't make them a bad ship. It just makes them a somewhat unimaginative ship. And at the end of the day, the Galore just looks a little bit more sleek, a little bit more aggressive, whereas the Keldons look a lot more bulky, which kind of was always weird. Oh, we have a friend on... Oh, don't do that. We have a friend. It is the GCS Eradicator. Great, we're working for the Gorn. I was kind of hoping that we would be working for, you know, a different faction than the Gorn, because that way I could show off more of the Cardassian fleet. So we got another FLG off to port, but we got a straight-up destroyer straight to our front. So we're going to try and deal with him first, because he actually has a single plasma torpedo with which to give us all kinds of pain. Now, we do have a light cruiser alongside us for the ride, so we should be able to kick some serious butt and take some serious names. You have no idea how disappointed I am that I'm not going to be able to show off the current Cardassian light cruiser. I believe it's a Raider, which, to be fair, not actually a Cardassian ship, but the color scheme had been made proper for that, and it actually fit the size pretty gosh darn perfectly. I think I mentioned this in the last episode. I kind of wanted the Breenock to be that, but unfortunately the Breenock was not, well, it was not the correct size. It's gigantic. So the Breenock was put in as a different slot because I was not going to lose the ability to actually put that in there. Increase speed and sort of operate out on the fringes. I suppose I could go in to try and prepare a Wild Weasel. Wouldn't want to use it anyway, though, because if you use that Wild Weasel, then you don't have anything ever again. You have 2 Plasma Gs, we have 2 Plasma Fs, so in terms of firepower, we're actually pretty much the same. Unfortunately for me, I think he managed to not... Yeah, he didn't take any damage on that one. So don't think either of them actually fired their plasma torpedoes, because somebody would have brake turned immediately had that been the case. Let's prepare a pseudo barrage, because I think what I want to do is I want to basically stop him in his tracks and make him incredibly vulnerable. So eat that. and respond accordingly. Aha! A single plasma torpedo would not have baited that out, but what I've now done to the Serpenticon over here is since he's utilized his Wild Weasel, that leaves him incredibly vulnerable for the oncoming Eradicator, who now has a single plasma torpedo. So he's about to eat 3 plasma torpedoes for 20 damage. I am a little bit behind on the turn, so ideally I would have been a little bit tighter in on him when he actually hit the speed of 4.5. And we'll fire our plasma torpedoes. Forward shields have dropped down rather significantly, but a full-on executed run has been pulled off, and we're going to immediately pull away. Hopefully, the Eradicator will fire his plasma torpedoes into the Serpenticon. After all, it's incredibly vulnerable at this moment. It has no Wild Weasel. I've opened up his aft shield, well, his aft starboard shield, and he's currently not in a position to really be super aggressive. We, on the other hand, are retreating. Looks like he's grabbed him. Come on, dude. Plasma torpedoes, you have them. You almost have 2 of them. Utilize them, please. Wow, you're just going to sit there and tank him to the face. Fire your weapons, sir! There we go. Now he's starting to get back into it. Another 20 damage right on top of the target. He managed to knock out 2 of his 3 phasers. His G-type plasma torpedo appears to be either stunned or currently being repaired, and he's lost basically all other supporting systems. I think we're going to be able to wipe out this entire group without too much trouble. We're going to come in here for a nice little phaser run. We have, well, quite a bit of power actually in order to pull this thing off, so we should be able to execute most of the Serpenticon, and yeah, I'm really surprised the Eradicator just tanked that shot. There was kind of no reason for it to. Oh, what a waste of a plasma torpedo. That is a shame. Alright, since we don't have a target there, we're going to shift on over here towards the FLG. I could actually, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's prepare a high energy turn. We may not actually need it, but cut it off. Point blank range blast, another 15 damage on through, and he's lost another shield. Flying right towards a mine, but I don't think he'll actually be in it by the time that it actually goes red. He's probably on top of the Eradicator enough in order to actually avoid that, and he was. Okay. So as we pull back in around, we're about to have one of our plasma torpedoes ready, which is perfect because he will not break turn immediately to respond to a single plasma torpedo. He will only respond to 2 of them. I think it's something like 30 damage that he has a limit to, or before he'll actually start, doing something about it. Just at the edge of range where we would have splashed back to ourselves. He is trying to accelerate on out of here. We're not going to let him, if, we have it all say in that. Another couple of phaser bursts in on him. Slow down a little bit because he started to slow down, and we are definitely on the inside of the stern. Prepare another plasma torpedo barrage. We almost have our starboard side plasma torpedo ready to rock. And come on, get out of the tube, get out of the tube. There we go. Not quite dead, but pretty gosh darn close. So we're going to increase the speed time. Were this a one-on-one battle, I might be tempted to try and steal him. After all, we are so very close to being able to get our hands on a Galore class. Unfortunately, by having allies like that, it kind of made it a little untenable. I'm actually going to keep us on yellow alert, because on occasion, there's like random dust fields that we ran into one time over by a diplomatic delivery, and ever since then, I've always been just a little bit squirrely about trying to maintain the shields online. But yeah, we'll stay at yellow alert and zip on towards the listening post. Hideki actually doing its job, scouting out ahead of the enemy fleet. Well, not the enemy fleet, the friendly fleet. After all, we are the Cardassians, not the Federation. They're not our enemies yet. And so we'll just read the data and steal it and get on out of here. By the way, where's the nearest off map at the moment, please? I have no idea, but I'm gonna bet there it is. Somewhere in this direction, as I started to turn to and then stopped because I wasn't sure. Alright, so a successful data extraction. We also then managed to blow everybody to smithereens, which, of course, is a fantastic position for us to be in as we dart on away in the neutral zone, causing havoc. Kind of what we're actually not really all that built to do. Hideki's, I don't think, have that great range. They're a very small vessel, as, denoted by the fact that we are, in fact, the frigate. So there was kind of no question as to which ship would end up being the frigate for the Cardassian fleet. It kind of had to be the Hideki. I wasn't sure what I was going to do if the sizes ended up being wrong, but luckily for us, the sizes were absolutely perfect for that. So that ended up dovetailing quite nicely into moving forward. This super heavy Cardassian fleet is kind of interesting when we finally get to it. Picked up out of the 350. Oh, we're so close. We're like one mission away from a Galore. Give me a Galore. Monster or diplomatic delivery? I think I'll take the monster, because the monster could be something either really, really easy or really, really hard. In either event, it'll probably pay a fairly decent amount. That's the hope. Prepare for battle. We are being escorted by the Town Saver. And the Town Saver is a legate, or legat? Legate? A legat class light cruiser. As you can see, it is equipped with nothing but phasers, which is a little disappointing. And here is one of the Cardassian cargo ships. Now, this is not one of the heavy weapons armed ones, and the way you can tell the difference on these models is that the more heavily armed ones actually have like little fins on them. So that is how you'll tell the difference should you run into. So that was absolutely lovely. I'm very happy that we actually managed to get our hands on it. And as you can see, the Town Saver is kind of perfectly sized to be the next size up. Very similar to the Hideki, except larger and elongated. We are currently squaring off against an asteroid monster, which will be quite painful to deal with. I will probably start powering up additional protection for us in relatively short order. By relatively short order, I mean now, because he's going to be all of the pain, and we really don't want to take all of the pain. We'll increase the speed of time. There's no sense in attempting to sort of bait him into Wild Weasels because he doesn't have a shuttle bay. He's just a big old asteroid, well, a creature on top of an asteroid that fires gigantic plasma beams. So not exactly healthy for your health. We should have most of our power available, so I'm going to steal all of it. And we're going to zip on here at maximum speed and slow down. So he has a single R and 2 Fs, which is not something you really want to just ignore, and that's a lot. That's a lot of damage. Now you also got to remember that asteroid monsters can actually do high energy turns, so getting in close can be a little bit dangerous, but we have a perfect torpedo run here. 2 plasma torpedoes out. We'll wait for the range of 0. Phasers. Another 62 damage just from us alone. We will immediately pull out of range. We did get mined by the Town Saver as it fired at us, and a plasma torpedo right on through the Town Saver's forward shield because he dropped in order to do shenanigans. So we're just going to stay out on the edge of the fight. We've already done a fairly decent amount of damage. As you can see, he's almost half health at this point. Hopefully the claw does not get too close because I don't want the claw dying. Not for any specific reason, but it's inefficient. Oh, he's lost all of his systems. Okay, just get on in there. We'll attempt to kill him with phasers alone. After all, we are actually fairly well endowed with phasers. Which is one of the reasons why the Town Saver is kind of pathetic, actually, because it's only got 2 more phasers than we do, and none of the plasma, which, you know, not exactly the grandest. And there we go. Asteroid monster defeated thanks to the light cruiser and the frigate, not so much the freighter. But yeah, that'll be lovely. Managed to take that down. 284 prestige. Should be just enough, actually. We're at 2140. Bring me on home. Shipyard, yeah, please. Early command cruisers are actually available. These are Keldons, which, you know, very cool, but I kind of want a Star Cruiser. So 1900 early command cruiser, the straight up CA for the Star Cruiser. 3 plasma torpedoes. We're actually 1 plasma torpedo lighter than them. Are you kidding me? No, they're not. 2 Gs, 2 Fs, 8 phaser ones versus 3 Gs and 8 phaser ones. Power is 40 versus the early command cruisers, which is 36. Okay, so you've got another plasma torpedo and less power. I actually think that'll be okay. Do I have any other, like, more expensive ships? 2006, a CAW. Straight up command cruiser, 3 Gs, 8 ones, 3 phaser 6, or 6 phaser 3s. I'm going to grab that because it's bigger, it's better, and it'll be the biggest galore that we can get our hands on. So we will buy the CAW, which is a fairly significant refit. We'll then go to supplies. Thank you for your service, Shieldbreaker, but I'm trading you in because we're going to be in the Justice for a while. Since we're going to be in this ship for quite some time, actually start, you know, kitting up on things. We'll go up here to a fairly decent number of spare parts, nothing too serious. Maximize the mines because those are always important, and give me maximum marines because we're also going to be starting marine operations fairly significantly. 15 spare parts ought to be good for now. Is there a mission holding me here? There is not. It's an MT-17 patrol. Shouldn't be unstable yet, but it will be soon. Holding action or a shipyard assault. We'll take the holding action. That way we can run should we need to and still accomplish the mission. But now we get to be in a brand new Galore glass heavy cruiser. So red alert and increased speed. We're operating with the Romulans at the moment. I haven't finished with the Romulans just yet, but as you can see, look at this gorgeousness. Is it not lovely? Full-on Galore class Star Cruiser. And it is equipped, as you can see, with 3 Type G plasma torpedoes, 8 phaser 1s, and of course the 6 phaser 3s for all your additional needs. Now that 6 phaser 3 is actually reducing my power by, well, my overall speed by 3, because, you know, we're a heavy cruiser, and so heavy cruisers increase their speed by 1 point per power. So in order to charge those, each one of those phaser 3s is half a point. So all those 6 phaser 3s are basically reducing my speed by 3 points, which we're still able to go pretty quick, so not bad. As you can see, a lovely look at the Galore, which is absolutely gorgeous. I'm very, very happy with how it's turned out. So now let's zoom out and prepare to engage. We have a listing post out there, as well as the Super Buyer and the Romai Palma. we've managed to bring some pretty serious firepower. Got a dreadnought over here, and the Orion... No, there we go, freighter. It's a universal freighter, so I didn't bother messing with it. But we do have to take this guy down, which is going to be interesting, to say the least. I could enveloping plasma torpedo. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be that much damage. Actually, no, it would be rather considerable, actually. Huh. He's not all that big. I think we'll keep it as it is for now, just so we can sort of keep going at high speeds. So we're doing a speed of 16. Had we not taken the W refit upgrade, we would be at a speed of probably 19, which is rather significant. Don't have any sort of super special plasma torpedo armament on this one. Just 3 straight-up plasmas, which hopefully will be aligned properly on the ship. I wasn't able to do anything about hard points, so we'll just continue to trundle along and prepare for maximum damage. But yeah, eventually I will come over to deal with you. If, you know, you survive. He's fired his plasma torpedoes from long range. Gotta make sure that I don't go too fast. After all, I don't want the Roman Palma to die. And there's its crash stop. It's going to slip under speed just in time. Lovely. In the meantime, we're now going to take our speed, and we're going to utilize pretty much all of it and just sprint at maximum power. Because I'm coming for you, Protector. And also, you have fired your plasma torpedoes at point-blank range. Are they going to be enough? Unfortunately, well-timed. We need to make sure that we are ready. Phasers, plasma torpedoes, everything, I guess. Okay. So that has basically shut off his Wild Weasel. Unfortunately, it would have been better if those plasma torpedoes had hit. Each one of those is almost as much damage as my entire plasma torpedo complement. So rather significant. The advantage of the Gs is they are longer range, and there they go. Plasma torpedoes off on target, and we should continue, I suppose, moving actually towards the back to see if I can't get a little bit of damage on him, because those should hit at full power. And bashed through most of them. Managed to severely damage him. We're going to see if we can't retreat in good order. Aft shield's not exactly all that great. We are fairly significantly larger than him, but that's kind of to be expected. We are, after all, a TNG era vessel, and he is not. Aft shield's in a little bit of rough shape, but that'll be okay. He is packing only one more plasma G torpedo than us, so we're relatively on even keel fighting with him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... He's got 10 phaser 1s to our 8, but then we pack the additional 6 phaser 3s for the close-in work. So in terms of plasma armament, he's got me beat by 20 damage. In terms of phaser armament, at close range, I actually outgun him, which is fairly impressive. We're going to just have to trundle along at a bit of a slower speed, wait for ourselves to get back down to the speed of normal charging, and we'll just sort of hover at the edge of distance. Eventually, we will then dart in, we will fire all of our plasma torpedoes once again. It will be beautiful, at least, you know, once we're fully ready. The phasers are fully charged and ready for another run, so I may as well go in on it. So that's most of our power. So I'm going to just sap nearly all of it in order to sprint on in. Probably won't be able to penetrate through his defenses, but that'll be fine. He's fired the first of his plasma G torpedoes, but I'm coming on in. And a return fire, and that, if that was real, it hit. Oh yeah, it hit, for sure. And it got right through his shields, and he did drop immediately for that Wild Weasel, but unfortunately it was not in a position to do anything. Now the Wild Weasel is actually going to give him an attack shift, or me an attack shift, which is not great. Definitely less than ideal. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start maneuvering around for his stern, because he is actually in a fairly good position to turn and shoot back at me. But however, if I can start working towards his stern, he might feel like he's in trouble, which will make us feel a lot better. Currently sitting on top of 100% high energy turn chance should we need it, but I'm going to just try and avoid getting anywhere near his front. I kind of took the angle on this a little bit wrong. The angle ideally would be me breaking out before I go past his halfway point. And that's a good shot. That's a really good shot. And we've traded phaser fire, and he came out definitely the victor on that one. We're going to turn a little bit, see if we can try and cover ourselves. Not quite within phaser 3 range, which is a fairly significant weakness. Aft shield probably... Oh, good. Lucky for us, that actually didn't make it to the aft shield. That one did. We did lose it now. So now we can start firing plasma torpedoes at him systematically. So fire the first of them, and we'll prepare to continue to fire more. Unfortunately, we don't have the same amazing arcs as we did last time that allowed us to basically shoot a plasma torpedo whenever the heck we wanted. But hey, that will be fine. The distance is good, so I can just keep on coming in. We'll fire our last plasma torpedo. It's not actually going to get the arc on. And we'll get in there with the phaser 3s and get him a sort of a short-range shotgun blast. And that ought to make him unhappy. At least unhappy as a camper as we can make it. That managed to actually get through my shield, so I'm going to build some distance in because we have taken a little bit more damage than we otherwise want to, and that's a plasma torpedo, and that's just gonna keep me a-running, sir. So we're going to start repairing the engine because I am down 1 point of power. We'll start patching our phaser 3 mount as well. That looked like a point-blank range. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Probably defended. Actually, no, not quite. So that was a point-blank range plasma torpedo. Looks like he got both of them on top of him. So he is not a happy camper, to be sure. And we're still just going to hold the range out just a little bit more. This is definitely fighting a little bit above our weight, but we are so close to being on par with him. Like, he has probably better phaser arcs than we do, just in terms of what he can manage. Although, in the frontal arc, we can bring all of 8 of our phasers to bear, and we can actually bring all of our phaser 3s to bear, should we want to, be super aggressive, brave, and let me shotgun you to the face. I'm not sure if we want to actually do that, because it's kind of dangerous. I'm going to fire that plasma torpedo, just get it off and see if I can't turn to bring my bow away from him before he gets any easy shots on through. Going to start to slow down. We don't really need to. Well, we do if we want to start charging all of the plasma torpedoes. They kind of do, although we have our phaser capacitor fully charged up. So for a range of 15, that's not going to deal a whole ton of damage. Only got 10 damage-ish through. However, it did knock out another one of his phaser arrays, and as long as we stay to his stern, I feel actually pretty good about coming in nice and close to him and basically nailing him with all of the fire, mostly in phasers. But yeah, definitely a step up in terms of firepower, definitely a step up in terms of durability as well. And, looks, because at the end of the day, the Hideki is cool, the Galorious is cooler. So we're just going to slip on in, try and get in nice and close. There's our assault range. Get a ton of damage on through, starting to knock out most of his outfiring phasers. That plasma torpedo, nothing I can do about it. And it wasn't real. However, it did absorb my phaser barrage, so I didn't get the free shot into his stern. So we're just going to sort of keep around. I don't want to be this close to a Gorn battleship. Well, Dreadnought. I am just... Okay, so apparently he fired plasma torpedoes at the decloaking Romai Palma. Didn't manage to accomplish all that much. Romai Palma starting to drop mines on top of him, and really, the Protector cannot afford this much damage, and I'm about to come in with a lot more phasers. This may end up ending him. Yeah, he's almost completely disabled, which is lovely. The range is almost within in order to start utilizing our phaser 3s. Remember, the maximum range of a phaser 3 in Rogue Deck, in Orion Pirates Plus is 2.99, just in order to ensure that the AI utilizes them properly, as the AI was very, very much in the habit of shooting them far beyond any sort of actual effective range. I don't think he's got a way to stop that, so that's probably going to knock down his forward shield, and he is insanely vulnerable at the moment. How many people do you have on board your ship? He's got 16. Holy crap, that's a lot of people. Just going to slip in to sort of bounce this mine, and plasma torpedo over the shoulder because we can, and it's fairly effective, and if it actually makes it to him, which it should, it'll deal a rather significant amount of damage. I'm absolutely stunned this PT-3 is still alive. He's dueling with a Romulan war vulture? A Romulan vulture of some description, and just, he's not dead. There we go, taken care of. Alright, so the first of the Dreadnoughts is done. The Superfire is still currently engaged in a long-running conflict with a ship that has 4 phaser 3s. So we're going to accelerate to maximum power on this as fast as we can go while still charging all of the weapons, because I still have a desire to charge all of the weapons. It's a lot of fun to do when you can just come in and blitz them with a ton of damage. Are you finally... That finally took care of him, of course. So the Super Buyer had to take a little while just in order to be dramatic. After all, he had to be the last one to finish. That way everyone could see how cool he was. Congratulations, Super Buyer. We all think you're very cool. But in the meantime, the Galore can now get off to the listening post, where we will get all of the information upon the Gorn movements and be able to plot against them. I don't remember what faction we played as in the last campaign, or played against in the last campaign. It may have been the Gorn, and if so, we're not going to fight the Gorn again because we've already done that. Unless I manage to come up with something really, really cool to turn the Gorn into, and I gotta be honest, it's not looking great. Unless I turn them into the Dominion, but I kind of wanted to turn the Hydrants into the Dominion because, purple. Well, actually, I want to turn the IC into the Dominion, but, this worked out a little bit better. Besides, the Dominion fleet ended up being half-Breen ships, which is not terrible. It's just that there's about 27 independent hull designs that had to be come up with for the ISC, several of which were duplicates, mind you. But they calls out like 27 or 28 different units in the game, and so I was able to find the Cardassian fleet much more easily, surprisingly enough. Although there are some interesting Dominion vessels, so it may end up just being the Breen. Yeah, we're going to have to wait to find out. Maybe I can just turn you into sort of like a catch-all random rogues? Oh, who knows. 350 prestige is a reward for a job well done and some influence over the planet. We'd have to hit it 7 more times in order to actually steal it, but not bad. We finally made it into the heavy cruiser A Galore class, and the Cardassian Union is starting to expand. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode, folks. I have been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. Before I see a notification every time I post one of these videos, press that little bell icon. Leave a comment. Seriously, which faction do you think we should go after? Which factions do you think we should tweak a little bit? And how are you liking the Cardassian campaign so far? I am dying to know. By the way, if you want to interact with us a little bit more directly, please join us for our streams on Wednesdays and Saturdays, normally 5 o'clock. However, tomorrow's stream, Saturday, is going to be much earlier just because we have something going on in the evening. Anyway, and I will see you all in the next episode.